Hi there, Leo. This video is for the Jupiter in Sagittarius transit, which is occurring from November 8th of 2018 until December 2nd of 2019, and what it means for Leo Sun and Leo rising signs. And this is really exciting. You know, Jupiter is a planet of luck and expansion, and it's in its own sign, so that is lucky for everybody. But for you, what is so exciting is that it is transiting through your fifth house, which is a house that you rule in the universal chart. So that can mean that you have this connection to that house. I think that that would be especially lucky for Leos. And to me, the fifth house is all about positivity and fun. It is a house of pleasure too. So with Jupiter being like, you know, making everything on steroids, we're looking at increasing your pleasure, increasing your fun. Maybe this is going to be a period of time when you are going to let your hair down more. Leo is a very hardworking sign. I don't know if a lot of people realize this because your symbol is a lion. And I think lions love to just lie in the sun, don't they? And then they kind of hibernate, don't they? I don't know. But there is this tendency for them to be very kind of passive sometimes, but not the astrological sign of Leo. And you are a sign that's known for creativity. All the things that the fifth house represents, you know, being romantic and being very warm. And so the fifth house is about falling in love. What can that mean when Jupiter transits this house if you're looking for love? It can mean that you have a lot more opportunity to meet somebody. It's interesting too because the North Node is finishing up its transit in this fifth house. So some of you may have had a relationship that was kind of a destined relationship, and I would say that in a positive sense, being the North Node. However, if for some reason nothing has transpired in that sense, it's possible that there could be some developments when Jupiter goes into the fifth house. This is the house of falling in love. It's that stage when you first meet somebody, even meeting friends, new people in your life. Jupiter can expand that. The opposite house of the fifth house is the 11th house that Aquarius rules, your opposite sign, and that's a house of friendships and groups. But this is the initial stage of meeting those people. And Jupiter in this house can give more opportunities to meet people who become your friends. But like I say, this can also work for your love life. The fifth house is also the house of recreational sex, and there's that pleasure angle. You may know that the 8th house is a house that is associated with sex under the sign of Scorpio, but in that case, it's more on the spiritual level, which is kind of like that deep union. And the fifth house is more of just for the sake of pleasure more than anything else. But if you fall in love with somebody, you can combine the two and actually conceive a child, and that would be associated with this as well. So if you've been having trouble getting pregnant, not you guys, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting pregnant. But, you know, some of you ladies out there who want to have a child, maybe this will be a time when you conceive and you have twins or triplets or something like that, because Jupiter always makes things bigger. Kind of like the state of Texas, right? I forgot how that saying goes. Texas grows things bigger or something like that. But anyway, creativity is the fifth house. And I want to connect this to childhood because the fifth house is a house of children. So you are in luck with anything connected to children. Maybe you're somebody who has been training to work in early childhood education. This can, in a somewhat indirect way, give you more opportunities for that. And likewise, just in terms of, as I said before, conceiving children, but your own inner child. So the fifth house is about those pursuits that, gave you happiness in childhood. Some of those things you still may be interested in. And, that might be like hobbies. Some people from the time they're very young, they love to draw. They love to paint. They might not ever imagine to do it for a living for whatever reason or play a musical instrument. But they want to continue to pursue it as a pleasurable activity. And this can give you more opportunities to do so, but also maybe you can take some of those hobbies and make them into something that you make money from, and you get a lucky break in this regard. Sometimes it's said, and this is related to the law of attraction, that when you generate a lot of good feelings, that you attract good to you. And so pursuing things from a perspective of wanting to have more and more fun, even if it's something that you eventually want to make as a hobby, as a career, you could possibly do that. And in the meantime, just keep doing it for a hobby with the intention of making money from it. The fifth house can be the business that you own, and it can be a situation where you can take these hobbies and make them into, make it into a business. The fifth house is a house of sports. And, sports is one of those things that people have fun with. And you could even consider sports a hobby. But in addition, speculation is associated with the fifth house. In the form of gambling, obviously, there has to be caution exercised. You would have to know what your natal chart shows, because if you have any kind of adverse aspects in your natal fifth house, it might not be the time. It might not be a good idea, even with this positive energy with Jupiter being so lucky, and it might be a better time for gambling. But if you have a compulsive tendency in that area, then don't even go there, because Jupiter makes everything bigger, as I said. So if you have some issue in this area, you don't want to increase it. Remember that Jupiter can be associated with too much of a good thing. It seems like there shouldn't be that phrase in our language, but there is, because anything that is good in life can be taken to the extreme. And it's not necessarily always going to be something that works in our favor. So we have to exercise caution if we have certain weaknesses or just areas that we realize that we can't really control that easily. And if gambling's one of them, then just say no. But I go back to what I said at the beginning when I talk about just positivity in general, as well as love, because you've had the North Node in your 5th house, and now you have Jupiter there. So I think you're kind of on a lucky streak as it is, Leo, and this is just adding more to it. And I'm very happy for you, and I hope that you have a wonderful Jupiter and Sagittarius transit. If you'd like me to do a natal chart interpretation for you, the link is below for that. But enjoy this wonderful influence and take care. Bye.